Welcome to the Hermitcraft recap. My name is Pixelriffs, our writer is LoyXP, and we don't cover live streams except when the Hermits make them into canonical episodes. Curse you, loopholes!
This really is like herding cats.
But this time around, it's especially important that we mention the live event because it threatens to become what we in the industry call a thing. This past Monday, the Hermits joined forces in a decidedly not a stream day event, where the Hermitcraft chapter of the 501st Legion joined the server at the same time with proximity chat on, and went to Rendog's Mesa to help terraform it into the formidable scorched landscape of Tattoo Ren. What threatened to be the biggest round of The Floor is Lava quickly became an evening of camaraderie and fun. So much so that according to Xisuma, the group is making it into a weekly get-together called Hermits Helping Hermits.
On Mondays, we're going to be live streaming this Hermits Help Hermits, and so, you should be on the lookout for it because it's just so much fun.
After all, there's plenty to help with in the many megabases started this season, and any amount of work will go by quicker while chatting about your preferences for fruit on pizza.
This question has actually made me lose a couple viewers, so I do apologize if this makes you lose viewers. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
100% yes.
Also, if you smell something burning, there's a fire on your subfeed, because there was beef and Wells Knight smoked it, or something. Is this how young people talk, fellow kids? In clearer terms, a fan has remixed the Hermit Gang track from back in Season 6 and used the beat to make a whimsical diss track on everyone involved, which then led to Wells Knight collaborating with Ellie Beatmaker and dropping a response to it. Both are freely available on the tubes near you and are pretty good, so check them out, just keep in mind that it's all in good fun. And with that out of the way, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week.
I mean, I pay you guys so well.
The free help you get these days, seriously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah!
Starting with Rendog, who drops the highlight reel of the Helping Hermits livestream while admiring the progress on the Tattoo Ren Delta. It certainly freed him up to complete an epic Jabba's Palace build around his creeper farm, complete with a layer of ash and grime from the volcanic surroundings. With all the creepers being banished to the Rancor pit, all he needs is a carbonite statue of Hypno to really tie the room together.
I've also made some major improvements to the creeper farm itself thanks to a bunch of extremely helpful comments from you guys in the comments of the last episode. And as you can see, them creepers are getting farmed like nobody's business up in here.
The next prime victim for the Hermitcraft collective workforce seems to be False Symmetry. While the custom alien terrain she planned might not be all made of lava, False has a pretty large task in front of her covering a sizable area in Nylium, the warped grass from the Nether. The issue here is that Nylium only spreads when the block by it is bone mealed, so just covering the area in Netherrack and expecting it to spread won't be enough, and while False already accomplished a big chunk of it herself, a group of Minecrafters would finish it much faster were they to engage in some, nihilism. Her next project is also no small feat. Actually, it's got no feet period, it just kind of stabs the ground with legs. Going with the alien theme, False builds a spider-legged saucer marching towards her cyberpunk city. No info on why exactly. For now, she's just left the lore of the situation up to the comments section.
I don't know. Now I've got a bit of a versus situation. These guys in here versus this guy. So, I don't know. If you're into lore, feel free to write some lore down below. I'll pick my favorite and perhaps roll with that.
Any extraterrestrials will find it hard to compete with the Hermit's own affinity for mysterious abductions. Luckily, Keralis and Cleo bust that case wide open, and we even get to see their perspective on attempting to herd the sewer cats.
Yeah.
Oh my, look at this, caught red-handed.
So does that mean they lost all their points because we got them? Jeez, guys.
I guess nobody wins. Or do they win?
No, they can't win. No, we win.
Points.
We win.
In celebration and safe in the assumption that his vehicles won't be stolen, Keralis builds up a new pearl for the harbour, a beautiful historical sailboat based on a real-life vessel, which, with all of its detail, still took plenty of effort to build, even if following someone else's design.
It is a design by AngryBird77 of the World Keralis server, and ay caramba. Oh, mamma mia in this case.
But though the rascals are seemingly out of the city, one can't forget that his co-mayor, Zombie Cleo, has a history of piracy as well.
And I'm loving having half a city, because that means I'm only half responsible.
Luckily for the time being, she's preoccupied populating the two bases she's now half responsible for. After the superhero parade in Harbour Town, it's the zoo's turn. And we get some visual puns on the hermits used in the installation, even if that means 10-year-olds with beards.
And we've got Cub fan scout leader Ren, who's got his diamond badge and his TNT badge, and it's just a mess.
You'll need to be a little older and much more bearded to get a tour of XBcrafted's winery, but the real Cub has some cash to splash around, so he purchases a pipeline direct to the mansion from the brewing vats. XB is still making some changes around the vineyard, despite a bit of homesickness kicking in and taking him back to the shattered savannah for a quick look around the changes Joe has been making.
I figured it out. I done did figured it out.
The winery's hilltop house gets a continued retaining wall and a private pool out the back, perhaps inspired by Cub's new swimming facilities. Despite having a perfectly fine wine tub in the basement, Cub fan also builds a pool at the half chateau. His one is collapsible, refills automatically, overlooks picturesque bases, and doubles as a fall trap. Not a very deep one, but he'll get your ankles.
And it has a nice spiral animation that starts here and then goes all the way around.
Cub also surrounds the property with a hedge fence and starts cultivating the garden within the perimeter, in part for the serenity of the vibing, but mostly so the outsiders won't bother his very delicious goat butler.
Look out! Oh, he's coming! He coming! That's why we gotta light out the outside, but he's not actually going after him, he's going after me.
Azumavoid, by contrast, locks up a few of those under Aquay Town. The Mason villagers are the perfect workforce behind the brick shop he wanted to build up on some freshly owned land. It's a pretty interesting business scheme, seeing how the secondary workforce behind the brick shop is Impulse SV and his many, many emeralds.
Alright, but it is going to block a little bit. I can handle that, no big deal, I suppose.
It'll come close. Look, here's the thing. So if you were to offer me some sort of cheap discount on emeralds, then you would be welcome to have the upper floor.
The two strike a deal to sell high, buy low, and keep the difference, as well as not to build too tall lest Impulse comes a-boving. Any residual goodness left in his heart, Azuma uses to deliver a snowman head to Tango Tech, as well as all the clues.
I've just realised that this thing is kind of like an infinite loop. Once you create one, you can shear the golem and you will get your carved pumpkin back. Then you can kill it with your sword, and not only can you get heads, you'll also get snowballs, and you always seem to get enough to create the snow back. Sometimes you can even create a surplus of snow.
Impulse just has to grind a little more at his raid farm to make up for giving Azuma a discount on emeralds, which leaves him with plenty of time to swap out all the accent colours in his base for tasteful pink concrete, and install a few chandeliers so he can live like tomorrow doesn't exist. Spending that much time on the ceiling reminds him there's still room for expansion further up in the pyramid, and plenty of farms left to check off the list. Upward expansion was on Grian's list for a while. The story of the tiny spot of land he bought forever ago in the middle of Scar's land, the plot if you will, finally peaks with the building of the barge tower. Quite fitting given that most of Aquay Town is a dirt raft over the ocean attached to the mainland.
Because underneath Aquay there is no landmass, it's all built out into the ocean.
All the more important that you won't try to blow a hole in it, which admittedly was not what he was trying to do when he did.
Oh no, not again, not again, not again!
The actual purpose of the contraption was to be a TNT launcher to elevate visitors to the upper floors and not have them slam face first using elytra.
Feel a bit silly as well, sitting in the pool of failure. I'm pretty sure this worked.
It didn't help then that the Turtle Master potions eventually ran out, which cost Grian his life, his stuff, and a time lapse of sadness. This, however, is not the only Aquay Tall House Grian is in charge of. After a day running around scaring people with proximity chats together, Good Times with Scar agreed to sell him the building with the Bdubs billboard on it, with the condition that they remove Bdubs' face. Which Grian did, from that one house, and onto the side of the barge HQ, spawning a grinning Grian in its place.
That is so cursed. Bdubs with no eyes.
And while Scar was a bit too preoccupied with the interiors of his realty agency to notice, this won't be the last time he'll be faced with the demon barber of Aquay Town.
Hi, Scar.
how are
and
you?
A smash.
Yeah, smash him. Yeah, kill him.
I got him.
Wow, that was
You're
murder.
welcome. See you later.
It wasn't the last move Bdubs' face made, as the Aquay Town decapitations came to a head with Bdubs repositioning the billboard on the back of his realty office, peeking in through Scar's window.
And plus, I can always keep a good eye on him. Right here.
With Aquatown now thriving and plenty of diamonds lining his pockets, Bdubs cuts a deal with False for some cheaper terracotta and sets up a storage building for it back at his medieval village base. For those of you who've been wondering how Bdubs works his particular brand of building magic, this video is well worth watching for a step-by-step tutorial on how these structures take shape.
Very nice. Okay, roof is done.
Zedaph's video, on the other hand, is well worth watching to see him have a face-off with himself. The Uncanny Valley Olympics go on to the new contestant, a base face apparatus, which is actually a piston door to the Cave of Contraptions and a sleep paralysis demon wrapped in one.
That will be perfect, right? You can't steal a contraption, but you can just steal a little iron trapdoor. So yeah, the less stealable we make this thing, the better.
Through a lot of dead puffers, Zed rigs it up to follow you with its eyes until you finally pass through its mouth. At least you can make it go cross-eyed a little.
Trigger the things, but if we go in here and push the button... Beautiful!
And finally, there's Tango Tech, and also BOO, Etho, and Keralis back for another round of Stat Poker, a game that only gets weirder the longer the season goes.
End of season rematch?
Or mid-season, for all we know.
Yeah,
Could be the beginning of the season.
It could be the beginning. Right.
To remind you, the game of Stat Poker has players pull a stat name out of the bag and then bet high or low on where their own stats lie. The afternoon of self-discovery reveals that BOO has crouched more than anyone else on the server and that Tango has the highest count of ladders climbed. Wonder how either of those stats are connected to the decked out minigame.
The creepiest thing I've ever seen.
And that's about it for this week's recap. Our writer is LoyXP and my name is Pixelriffs. We've returned to the skies for a new stab at the chicken-blocked bedrock map. Episodes are going up on Zloy's channel and you'll find them linked in the end screen theatre. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next week.